Hello and good morning everyone, and thank you for joining our Veeam webinar today. So we're joined here by Artem Philippov, who is a Systems Engineer at Veeam, and he will be presenting the webinar today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Emma. Thanks for a great introduction. Give me 1 second to prepare my screen as well. Okay. So kindly raise your hand in case you can hear me well, in case you can see my screen. I'll just wait for a second for the feedback.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. So as Emma mentioned, yes, I'm System Engineer for Veeam Software, especially for UK region, for Ireland as well. And first of all, I would like to thank you for joining us today. It's really a pleasure for us. And as you feel, the initial idea of today's session was Direct Restore to Azure, but we've decided to make it wider and to include some updates from 9.5, as well as Microsoft Azure integration and something from Office 365 that you may have heard before. So what we have on the table today? First of all, as I mentioned previously, really brief introduction of 9.5, our last update that we had, with some new integration with Windows, different storage stuff. As well as the second page, we'll have our new agents. As far as we decided to move to the physical environment, we'll talk a little bit about our agents for Windows and for Linux. And that's really important as far as we have this integration of restores of physical and virtual machines to Azure as well using agents. The main part of the presentation today is going to Microsoft Azure, our direct restore capabilities with Azure, how we can use this, what are our use cases, and what kind of benefits you as customers may have from it. And the suite will let our integration with Office 365, why it's so important for you, and surely some Q&A block as well. So in case you'll have any kind of questions, and I hope you will, we'll go for them at the end. So let's go on. So where we are at the moment, as a Veeam, as a company, as a product. As you know, last year we celebrated our anniversary. And as you know, Veeam is more than 10 years on the market. Being most innovative and provision company for the time, we've been hard associated with virtual world. For the years, we've been blowing up the market with out-of-box solutions for the virtual environment, for VMware, for Hyper-V, and approaches with our primary product, Veeam Availability suite for virtual workloads. And this is really good. But everything is continuously developing, and that's why Veeam Availability Platform being presented last year. The platform that are all kinds of solutions on the market. The platform that is targeted to the hybrid clouds, to the virtual infrastructure, to the physical as well. Over the years, we've invested in edgeless technologies, bringing them to the perfection. But right now, as everyone is moving to public, to hybrid cloud world, we can't get access to the hypervisor level. And that was the reason we developed agent approach. On the other hand, we've announced Veeam Availability Orchestrator for disaster recovery orchestration. And in the future, it will orchestrate data and workloads in on-prem and cloud environments. As a third part of the solution, it's Veeam Cloud Connect that takes backups and replicas to the cloud, moves data between clouds, separate components that customers or service providers can use. And with this bunch of components, we'll be in the middle of the hybrid cloud. We'll be able to move workloads not only for data protection, but also to avoid vendor locking, etc. And that's where we're moving to. And as part of this update, as part of this Veeam Availability Platform, we announced Veeam Availability Suite. If you've been using Veeam previously, if you heard about this release, we have a lot of complaints about that. You didn't provide a really huge amount of new features, but we've released more than 120 new features with this minor release. Each of these features has been targeted to perform every action faster, leverage additional options of integration. Each of these features has been released to provide extreme level of scalability in your environment. Everything to provide you the level of availability your business has never faced before. So it even sounds cool. We've been focused on the speed of integration of the scalability thing. Let's just check a couple of them. huge block of innovation has been dedicated to enterprise scalability enhancement. However, that's not just for the enterprise. While reducing load of primary storage and backup storage in the center, we accelerate our backups. We reduce backup window up to 5 times. We've been fastest on the market, and we even more faster right now. We've improved our VM performance by several times. So what we've got right now, faster restores from duplication appliances, parallel disk restore, direct restore from tape. And we optimized our engine code to reduce the load of database, to get faster interface, new controls, reduce load on production. Everything that's been proud previously, we're proud right now as well. And these 3 things are just the tip of the iceberg. Because as well, we've got really deep integration with Windows 2016 on all kinds of application level, on the Microsoft Active Directory, with a new Exchange, with SQL Server, with SharePoint as well. And it's really cool. Just come one slide back. Sorry for that. As well, the integration with Windows 2016 is just on the next level right now. On the other hand, we got full support of 2016 platform with all kinds of running VMs inside, with full support of Hyper-V, Nano Server, storage spaces direct, and applications. So we'll talk about this a little bit later. And the last thing from this minor update that I would like to mention as well is integration with storages, our Nimble storage integration. Previously we got it with the EMC, with HP, with NetApp, and right now we extend it up to the Nimble level as well. So right now the backup from storage snapshots is available. Explorer as another tier of protection as well, an on-demand sandbox to create a fully isolated lab for you. Everything is available, so what you got RTPO less than 15 minutes with a really transparent backups and consistent protection with application-aware backups as well. So we released the complete solution that provides you a really high level of integration between Veeam and Nimble without any additional impact on production, without options to recover individual items or entire VMs quickly from Nimble snapshots and copies. But the best thing in the whole release is our REFS integration. Maybe you heard about this previously. It's really a special thing. REFS 3.0 is a new Windows file system, new iteration of the old thing. And that provides a really huge amount of benefits to you as a customers when you're creating backups using Veeam. So what you have? You got fast cloning technology. The approach just enables up to 10 times faster creation of synthetic full backups for even shorter backup window and lower backup storage load as well. At the second step, you got spaceless full backup approach. So just think about that when you need to create additional backups for weekly, yearly, monthly, quarterly timestamps, you don't need any kind of storage anymore, any additional storage space, because these backups are spaceless. This dramatically reduces backup storage capacity consumption that reveals that of its duplication appliance. That's just deduplicating on the fly. And at the same time, as now in Veeam, we really care about the data that you store. And we understand that you don't want to lose this data as far as it's in backup. So what we've got integration with the data integrity streams that leverage our fast data integrity scanner and proactive error correction from storage spaces. That's to protect backup files from silent corruption. So you can be 100% sure that your backups are consistent, not corrupted, and whenever you need them, you'll be able to restore. That's another step in the backup world, another step in the protection world as well. So how it works? Previously, as you know, to create the full backup, and after that we create the full backup, and after that we're creating some increments. Step by step, day by day, we're creating increment by increment without additional impact to production. We don't need to read the data once again. Data blocks are changing, and one day we would like to break the full backup chain. So we would like to create additional backup without touching production. That's called synthetic full. And initially, to do this, we have to copy each data block from one place to another one. And to do this, we need additional storage space. And as a result, in case you would like to have a huge amount of data to be backed up for years, you will need a huge amount of storage space, and you will be pushed to use some duplication storage appliances or tape devices. With this new approach, with this break-binding approach, what we're able to do, instead of copying the data, we're just able to copy the reference to existing blocks. That will dramatically reduce the amount of storage space needed for that. So as an example, what we have, instead of 2.4 terabytes that's required, we can use only 1.28 storage space. It's really something special. It's just a huge difference that's just made by using different file system. And it's everything in Veeam is storage agnostic. It doesn't matter what kind of storage you will use for it. It's a simple using of the file system on different storage, reducing the amount of data, amount of storage space that's required for this process twice or even more. It's really cool. Whatever you can dream about. It's really awesome approach, extremely simple to use, without any additional plugins. So really Veeam style. So just once again to highlight, shorter backup windows, reduced backup storage capacity, and more reliable forever incremental data archiving. Really cool stuff. Covering this, we're going directly to our agents. As you know, for a long time in Veeam, we've been focused on the virtual infrastructure. We've developed the most outstanding technologies and approaches in the virtual world. We got a lot of awards for that. But we realized that even in the huge companies, even in the small business as well, we're never faced with a situation when the company is virtualized 100%. Because all the time what we have some endpoint, workstation, some roaming mobile laptops, and physical infrastructure as well. Sometimes physical servers that are not able to be migrated to the virtual due to some software limitations. And that's why we've decided to invest more our power to the physical world, to the agent technologies, and developing 2 new agents that have been released last year, announced last year, for Windows and for Linux. So what are the use cases? The scope of application of agents is to cover everything that's not be able to cover with Veeam Backup and the replication by itself. So full virtualized VM running on premises and file-level backup tapes are still covered by Veeam Backup and replication. But in case you have any desktops, laptops, tablets, this can be backed up and protected by agents. In case you have any physical servers or cloud-based workloads running on Azure, Amazon, and other public clouds, this can be covered by Veeam agents as well. Any kind of VMs running on premise with physical device mapping, PRDMs, no problems, this can be covered by Veeam as well. And all kind of file level backup to disk. So what we have right now we're able to cover any kind of infrastructure with any kind of complexity using these 2 solutions for physical world and for virtual infrastructure. And now, after announcing this Veeam agent for Windows, we announced a huge amount of features and differences comparing to our previous product that you may have heard about, Veeam endpoints, that have been first iteration in this physical world. So for any Veeam agent for Windows edition, we support instant recovery to Microsoft Hyper-V. We support what's really important, direct restore to Azure, And just in 5 minutes, we'll talk a little bit in more details how you can use this. Source-side encryption. Backups directly to Veeam Cloud. It's really cool. Transaction log backups and application-aware processing. These things that the market has been waiting for a long time for us. And right now we have it. On the other hand, we have Veeam Agent for Linux as well, because this physical world is split in two parts, for Windows and for Linux, with the same amount of features. Direct Restore to Azure as well is supported right now. It's fully integrated with Veeam Backup and Replications, as well as Windows one. Support multiple jobs, support backup recovery using the console UI, up to the bare metal recovery as well. And as everything is Veeam, it's really easy. It's really easy to use, easy to go. And both of the products, they have deep integration with Azure. Because at the moment, many IT professionals are forced to look into benefits of public or hybrid cloud model. And you hear from everywhere that there are many benefits with this model, and management is chasing you to create ideas of saving costs and changing the model from CapEx to OpEx. And besides the pressure, of course, there are also pressure from users, where they are customers or end users, to be more agile and deliver faster support. So day to day, everyone's feeling this pressure coming from the cloud technologies and this pressure to move to the cloud. But being a system administrator, we clearly understand that we are not migrate purely to the cloud. And the best solution here, the best approach, is to build some kind of hybrid cloud solution, where your physical, where your local on-premise deployment will be deeply integrated with the cloud solutions. And there are a huge amount of options how it can help you and how you can use Veeam to leverage this kind of approach. And first of all, as far as we started with agent approach, you just quick restore Windows and Linux machines directly to the Azure as a VMs. And that's an amazing thing, because just think about that like the technologies that provide you unlimited options. Starting from some kind of basic things, you got your laptop, you deploy this agent to your laptop and make a backup that you store on your Veeam server. You got some kind of annual vacation and you're somewhere on the beach making cocktails, and at one moment you got some really emergency request from your company and you don't have your laptop and you have the most critical data located directly there. Without any problems, you just spin up the VM in Azure and making the direct restore of all your data. So you'll just like spinning up your laptop directly in Azure without any problems. Log into this laptop, making your stuff, getting the data that you need to send to someone, and power off this laptop without any problems. On the other hand, you got a really critical physical server in your infrastructure that due to some reasons been hardware broken. What's your options? You can wait for 1, 2, 3 days for the new hardware to be delivered to your infrastructure, or you can just run the server directly in the Azure as well. And using these approaches, you can minimize business disruption. On the other hand, you can execute any kind of planned workload migrations, because one of the toughest problems right now is limitation of the hardware. Let's imagine that you have an R&D department that use some kind of approach, develop some kind of application with web-based console in front. In the middle, there is some kind of business logic located, and in the end, you have some kind of database. And in most of cases, you will not be limited only by one front-end, one middleman, and one back-end thing. You'll have a couple of both. And you have two options. First of all, you can just use your R&D department, just develop something using the simple deployment with one front end, one SQL database, and one business logic device in the middle. But what you're faced with, that it will not be ideal. You may face a huge amount of problems when you release a new version of software. And the main limitation for you is limitation of the hardware. You're not able to deploy 6 additional servers to duplicate your infrastructure. And you don't want to invest some additional money just in duplicating your infrastructure as well. So the easiest way for you, the easiest thing you can do is just to deploy additional VMs in Azure for the time of development, use these resources for a time, and after they destroy when it will not be required anymore. And to proceed with this workload migration, you can use agents as well. You make the backup of your system, of your production system, and in a couple of clicks you migrate them to Azure as well. It's really cool. So this provides IT with a simple and straightforward way to restore anything to Azure. Migrate individual legacy physical server to the cloud. The powerful combination of Microsoft and Veeam provides IT administrators with the flexibility, with real high level of scalability of Microsoft Azure and availability. This thing that you're able to restore your backups directly to Azure means you can just optimize your resources, allocations, and leverage Microsoft Azure as an on-demand cloud data center for disaster recovery, taking full advantage of Azure flexibility and scalability of cloud resources. You're able to use it as an instant sandbox for any kind of patches, mitigating any kind of risk connected with the critical updates, stuff like that. And if you've seen it before, in 9.0 we've released the initial technology preview. From this time, a lot has been changed. We released 9.5 fully integrated feature, which is just part of Veeam Backup replication right now, with no need to deploy any kind of appliance. So it's even more simple right now than it was. With Restore into Azure directly from the interface, just a couple of clicks, and I'll show you a little bit later how we can do this. Comparing to the previous release, Windows and Linux have both integration with this technology, and both are supported. All kinds of deployments done directly from Veeam interface. You don't have to deploy anything else in Azure, no kind of Azure additional appliances. We'll do it by ourselves. And parallel disk restore is supported as well. That will speed up the restore dramatically. So how it works? Extremely simple, like everything in Veeam. To be able to use this benefits of integration of Veeam in Azure, you just have to create some kind of backup and locate it on Veeam repository. As I mentioned previously, it's possible for virtual infrastructure, for physical, for agents, for anything. After that, as far as you've got the access to the backup within the Veeam Backup replication UI, you can restore it in a couple of clicks and migrate a VM, physical server, or endpoint directly to Azure. It's extremely simple, and you don't need to deploy an appliance. The only thing that you must have is just your credentials to Azure, and as well some kind of gateway, or as we like to name it, proxy server, is recommended in Azure, but this can be deployed directly from Veeam as well. It will improve performance of the restore process up to 10 times comparing using pure solution. And being part of our Veeam Availability platform, it has deep integration, full complete integration with backup replication, with endpoint, with agents for Windows and Linux, even with Veeam Backup free edition as well. So just to highlight this once again, with this kind of approach, with this kind of integration, Without any problems, any potential issues, you may restore your workloads directly to Azure. You can execute your planning workload migrations and create Azure-based test environment. And as everything's in, that's just the instrument that we'll provide to you. And every day we find out more and more approaches how our customers are using this integration. That's the main thing that we have in Veeam. So as I promised, let's go for a couple of minutes directly to the interface of the product. So I'll demonstrate you how this looks like, how Veeam agents restore to Azure, maybe a couple of other things as well. Okay. Okay, just a second. Here we go. Great. So if you are existing customers or you've seen Veeam before, yeah, it's our interface. Just a standalone software, not an appliance, not a physical appliance, without any kind of agents for virtual, just to highlight. What we've got inside here, we've got pre-configured storage infrastructure, backup infrastructure as well, with some repositories and stuff. As well as you can see in the interface, we've got some pre-configured agent jobs here, and already we have some backups. So let's start from the agent approach. Yeah, what we've got in this agent world right now. Let me just open our VM with the agent inside. So I'll show you the interface and what's available there as well. So typical Windows 2012 VM or 2 with the agent on board. It's really simple to deploy it, everything in Veeam. It's really simple to configure. That's nice interface. And we got this configure backup tab here as well. Yeah. So the thing with the agents, they can be licensed and controlled using Veeam, using Veeam Availability console as well. Multiple different options. Yeah, so what we can back up: entire computer, volume level backup, file level with different destinations. And in our case, we're using this Veeam Backup and replication repository. Our backup servers here, some credentials, backup repository where we'll store it, amount of restore points, some additional configuration, cache. In case you are a roaming user, it's really extremely important for you in case you don't have the instant connection to the internet. And some really fancy guest processing, that being a limitation for a long time previously. It's application aware processing for AD, for SQL databases, for point-in-time restores, and guest file system indexing for file servers. That's really cool. And schedule as well. So it's extremely simple. In case you've seen Veeam interface before, it's just the same. It looks the same. Even the configuration here is the same as well. After creating the backup, we'll see the progress here, and we'll go to this backup directly in the Veeam repository. So those backups are located directly here. And as I mentioned previously, for example, we've got this server, our Windows server, completely down, and we would like to restore it directly to Azure, and it's available directly here. To get an access to this Azure wizard, we just need to make one thing: create an Azure account and specify it in the interface as well. Nothing to be deployed there, so everything is extremely simple and straightforward. And what we can do after that, just one click, restore directly to Azure. Specify the resource model, the deployment model, to the subscription, to the location. So in our case, we'll use North Europe, as far as our lab is located in Helsinki. This thing uses Azure Proxy VM. It's the thing I've been talking about previously. That's the gateway that will speed up. Unfortunately, it's not deployed in our infrastructure right now, so we'll do not use it. Specify the VM, specify the VM size, storage account. We can use whatever we want here. Yeah, no problems at all. Resource group as well, we'll use the default one. Network connections. So we'll just map it to the VM network that's inside, to EMEA Demo Center VM network as well. One more click, no restore reasons, we're too lazy for that. Ready to restore, finish. And that's all you need to do to restore the simple VM in Azure. So as far as we are not using the proxy here, it will take some time. But that's the main idea. Yeah, just restore them directly there, and after that we'll have this VM up and running directly in Azure. While it's going through this restore process, we'll check it later. How much time will it take? Let's go back to the presentation and cover one more thing here as well. So as I mentioned previously, another big thing that's been announced in our 9.5 release is backup for Office 365. From our experience, a lot of customers have been migrated to Office 365 from on-premise Exchange deployments. Even we in Veeam are using Office 365 as well. And this approach enables you always on enterprise to work from anywhere. And that's really cool. That's really a unique thing. We've been waiting it for a long time. But the common misconception is that you don't need to protect it as far as in the cloud. We've heard this rumor for a long time from different customers, from small and enterprise. And most of them they think that, yeah, as far as it's in the cloud, it's fully protected by Microsoft. And we do not need to protect it. We don't need to care about this data. Microsoft will do it. But that's not true. It doesn't replace the need of having this data locally, having this data in your data center. It's your data and you're responsible for protecting it. One of the examples that we faced previously, just think about this number. There are more than 60 million users, commercial users in Office 365 right now. More than 60 million customers. And there was a situation a couple of years ago when Amazon lost 1% of the data due to some storage corruption. So first of all, everyone lost access to their data for more than 4 hours. The cloud provider started the instant investigation trying to restore the data as soon as possible. But as a result, they restored 99.99% of the data, but 0.01% been lost. And that sounds like a really small amount of data, but think about that. In case Microsoft will lose the same amount of data, it will be more than 6,000 commercial users. And the reasonable question, do you want to be one of these 6,000 users, 6,000 commercial users? Do you want to play in the lottery to lose the data that's so critical and so important to your business? That's why it's really important for you to understand that you're responsible to control the data, you're responsible to back up it. And with Veeam, with this small product, which in most of cases you'll get it free right now because of a lot of promotions, Veeam Backup for Microsoft Office 365, you can mitigate the risk of losing access to your data. You're able to make a backup of your data from the cloud on premise. Put this on tape after that. For a long-term recovery, move it to some remote vault and be 100% protected in case of any kind of failures. You can securely back up Office 365 mails back to your environment. In case of any failures, you'll be able just in a second to restore this data based on the individual mailbox, individual letters, emails, with this level of granularity that you have on-premise as well. And without any problem, perform e-discovery and email archives with high level efficiency as well. It's really something simple, as everything, but really important part of the whole infrastructure. And with this approach, we're able to integrate with Veeam Backup and Replication. You can back up hybrid cloud environment and migrate mailbox items, migrate your database mailbox emails between Office 365 and Exchange without any kind of problems. And as far as it's fully integrated with Veeam, it's really easy to use. Once again, let me switch back to the interface here, show what we have. Okay, just 1 second. I'll open their Office 365 appliance back again. Due to some reasons, we decided not to present it like a feature of Veeam Backup Replication, but as a standalone product. Maybe we'll just add this as a feature later, but just at the moment, due to design and due to most of kind of deployments, it will be better. Okay, so some kind of conflict users there. Let's wait for a second. Good. So as I mentioned, it's extremely simple to use and to configure the same interface that we've got in Veeam as well. To be able to back up the standalone Exchange in the cloud just as the organization, specify the server, credentials, that's all. After that, we'll, with the full access to the database inside, we'll be able to back up it with a specific schedule, or we're able to restore any kind of data. If you see now our interface to the agent for on-premise Exchange, it's just the same. We'll even use the same Explorer without any problems. And we'll be able to deep dive up to the separate inbox items without any problems and restore it. So for example, we've got this list of users, what huge amount of emails inside. I'd like to restore this one, when we restore it back to production or back to the on-premise Exchange as well. A really simple approach that can save a huge amount of time and huge amount of data as well without any additional impact on production. That's really cool. Really cool. Okay, what we have here with our running job and restoring of the VM to Azure. It's 4% completed due to the low speed that we have today. Just 4 megabits per second, but the limitations of our lab, unfortunately. However, at the same time, in case we'll check our Azure, we've already got some restored VMs here, like this demo Windows 2016 Core Edition, that's been restored, and it's here just for any purposes. Yeah, and we got our proxy appliance which deployed but not powered on in our Azure deployment. And that's all we need. Yeah. So as you can see, no appliances deployed here, no additional software, nothing like that. Just one click, restore, and you've done. So that's the idea, that's the approach. Okay. So that's where we are right now. Okay. That's where we are right now. So at the moment, that's all from my side. Later we'll check if we'll finish our restore to Azure. We'll see that it's up and running, but no problems at all. It's really simple, straightforward procedure. Okay, I mean, what about the questions? Do we have any questions?
Perfect, thank you. I'll just change it back to my screen. So thank you, Artem. So if you do have any questions at all, there is just a questions box, which is just at the right-hand side of your screen. If you type them in there, I will read them out for Artem to answer for you. Okay, and we have our first question saying, what is the difference between using Veeam and using a duplicating storage appliance?
So using Veeam and using what kind of storage appliance?
A deduplicating storage appliance.
So that depends on what kind of what you try to achieve. So actually, Veeam is fully storage agnostic software. We can use your duplication storage appliance. We can use any kind of storage, even the local storage for the server. We have our own built-in deduplication, and even more, we have integration with the duplication storages as well for faster restores and faster backups. So we are not competing with the duplication storage appliances. We are not competing with the storages as well. We're just trying to find a good way to integrate with any kind of storage technology that you use in your environment. But the difference is, the main difference, that when you're using Veeam to protect your data, it's really simple to do. You don't have to deploy any agents. And Veeam do care about the data, about the applications that are inside of your VMs, inside of your physical machines as well. So just think about that, like in case you're doing backup using the storage approach, in most of cases you will not take care of the transactions, you will not take care of the production data. So you'll make the restore, but you'll make the backup, but when you'll go to the restore, you may have to go through the self-restore procedure for the data, for the SQL, for example. And with Veeam, everything is straightforward and simple. So yes, that's the point. But in reality, we do not compete with the duplication storage appliances. You can just use it for the Veeam to store some kind of long-term backups there.
Okay, thanks, Artem. So we do have another question here that says, are there any Veeam licensing implications when using physical server agent?
Yes, so for physical server, we got 3 editions right now for Windows and for Linux as well. It's free, it's workstation, and it's server edition. The idea was free, it just will have the same functionality as the endpoint that's on the market right now, with some additional features like Direct Restore to Azure, stuff like that. The main difference of workstation from the free is a full-time support, production support, 24/7. That's really extremely important for commercial business, for enterprise as well, that will guarantee our support in case of any kind of issues. And the main difference of the server edition is application-aware processing. So that's one of the key technologies, key approaches in Veeam. When we are back up your data, we do care about what's inside, what kind of application. We're able to prepare application before the backup will be done. So it's really important, as I mentioned previously, for example, for SQL, in case we will not do this, the database will be corrupted, and the backup is nothing without the restore. So we'll try to make this process extremely simple for you and ready to go without any additional actions. So that's the main difference of the editions.
Okay, thanks, Artem. So we have one more question here. It looks like it's the last one. It says, does Veeam work with Enterprise Vault when restoring placeholders?
Can you provide a little bit more details what you mean?
Okay, so Lisa, either pop some more details in the questions box or we can take that offline and come back to you. Oh, so Lisa's just said, so EV creates placeholders, stubs, when archiving data, which some vendors restore when restoring data. Does Veeam do this?
Okay. Yeah, a little bit confused by the question because so actually in Veeam we do not use any kind of placeholders. So if I got the question right, let's try to explain this how it works. Yeah, in Veeam when we're restoring the data, we have two approaches. First of all, we can use instant recovery, and in this case, we'll not even use any storage space from the production storage. We'll just map the VM that we'll create in the virtual infrastructure directly to the backup located in the server. Yeah, that's first approach. In this case, so we don't need any additional storage space, so we'll not make any kind of placeholder. In case we're making direct restore back to the production storage, I'm not sure I have to check that, but I never heard that we make any kind of placeholder. So yeah, but what's possible, we can use pre and post-run scripts to reserve some storage space for this scenario, if I got the question right. But in case not, we'll highly appreciate some additional details. Maybe yes, it's better to put this question to offline. So we'll make some investigation and provide you some additional details.
Brilliant, thanks Artem. And yeah, so Lisa, we can take this offline if that didn't answer your question for you. But thank you, Artem. So we do have one more question here. So this is from Keith. Keith said, REFS3 acceleration applies to both Hyper-V host and Hyper-V guest OS operating system.
Yeah. So
any advantage if only the host uses REFS3 while guests use NTFS?
So just one more clarification about this REFS. We have this integration only for repository right now. Yes. So in case you're using Hyper-V and store your data on the REFS, that's okay for us. We can use it, but no additional integration. The main level of integration is when you're creating a storage and you just format the storage in REFS and connect it through the Windows 3 2016. That's the main thing. Except of that, that doesn't matter. Just to clarify once again, you can use VMware, create a backup, store this backup on the REFS 3.0 storage, and you'll have this integration. You can use a Hyper-V 2016 to 12, backup this data using Veeam, and put this data on the repository with the REFS 3.0, and you'll have this level of integration as well. So that's the idea.
Okay, thanks, Artem. So I think that's all the questions we have for today. There haven't been any more that popped up. So thank you, Artem, for presenting the webinar today, and thank you everyone for taking the time out of your busy diaries to join the webinar today. So as mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, there will be a feedback form at the end. So if you would like any more information, if you just pop that in there, one of our specialists will be in touch with you. So thanks everyone, and thanks again, Artem, as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining the session. Thank you. Bye.